Hello there and welcome back. Another sporadic video from the Diabolical Artificer. Right, amp progress. Got to cover a few subjects in this video. I'm going to try and be a bit more to the point instead of waffling on like a idiot. Right, this is the amp progress. This is the top of the amp. As you can see, we've got the heater wiring in. We've got the bus bar in, the ground, or whatever you call it. It's not an earth, is it? It's a ground. Just put in a 10 ohm and a 390 ohm resistor. The latest brainwave is to use fixed bias, but also a bit of cathode bias. So with that in mind, I'm just looking at my capacitor stash. I was going to use, I've got these really nice wet tantalum caps, 11 microfarads, 100 volts, but that won't give us a very good cut-off point. So if you're not sure, right, where was I? I've only got a 2 gig memory card because some idiot formatted me 32 gig memory card in extension 4, which is a Linux format, and now the camera won't recognise the bleeding card. Anyway, where was I? Right, if we don't know how to, right, how do we find the coupling capacitor, the capacitor, cathode capacitor for a output stage? Right, we use this old formula: 1 divided by 6 point, oops, 6 point, for fuck's sake. Right, 1 divided by 6.28, right, which is 2 times pi, times by a resistor value, which is 390, and, right, I was going to use 47 microfarads, so we have to put that times 0. We have to put this in farads. 0, 0, 0. So 1 microfarad would be 0.000001, or 5 zeros. So it's 47. So we've got 4 zeros, 4, 7. Close brackets. Press equals. Okay. So that will take us right down to past DC. 47. Right. But let's just put in our 11 microfarads, which is what I was going to use. Alright, come on, idiot. Oh, it's really hard to do. This is one-handed. Where are we? 6.28 times by 390 times by 0.00001, close brackets, equals, that would give us a 3 dB cut-off of 37 Hertz. If you look at the frequency curve, it's going to come along like that, dip like that, and our 37 Hertz will be down here at half power. So, yeah, not very good. So anyway, I was looking through my axial capacitor stash. Loads of different ones, 100U. I found these STC 47 microfarads. Yeah, 47 microfarads, 20 volts, which will do. That'll give us a really low cut-off point, as we've seen. But however, if we're going to use these, for a start, these have been sitting here for God knows what, at least 2 decades. So we need to know that they're reading 47 microfarads and that the ESR is okay. I've checked the ESR, that's okay. When I come to read them on my bridge, we're just not having it. Not reacting at all. So that means that they need reforming probably. So I've just got that stuck on 10 volts. In fact, let's just crank that up. I've got it on coat Leamington in case it's really leaky. It's looking alright. Ideally I should, or you should, put a current, you know, an ammeter across that, well, in series with it, to find out how much is the leakage, how much current is it's leaking. But that's going to be a pain in the arse for all them, but I'm going to have to do it, because it's no good putting in a load of capacitors and then having to take the buggers out again, is it? Right, so that's that dealt with, because ideally we want our capacitors, which is forming a filter, isn't it? It's cutting a high pass filter. It is creating a high pass filter with our 390, you know, with a cathode resistor, 390R cathode resistor. So we don't want them all over the place. So I mean, we don't want like this valve to be attenuated at 40 Hertz, this one to be attenuated at 100 Hertz. Sorry, this one to be, you know what I mean, we want them to be all the same. So really, when we're building an amplifier, we should be checking all our capacitors on a capacitance meter, and the same goes for our coupling capacitors, because these types, 20% I think, electrolytics, they're usually plus or minus, yeah, hold on, they're usually plus 20%, minus 10%. So they could be, I don't know, work that out yourselves. I want to try and keep this short. So this is where I'm at. This is the top of this, the amplifier. That fits on top of this wooden lid. Whoops, will come up there. Oh, sorry, don't try and shift it with the lid, you pillock. Right, and unconventionally, I've got the output transformers under here. So let's lift this off without dropping all this crap inside the power supply. Okie dokie. Looks a mess, doesn't it? But so what we've got, mains transformer, which has got the HT, our heater windings, etc, etc. These are our output transformers, there and there. They are shielded from the magnetic stray, you know, voodoo from the mains transformer by a piece like a shield, which is covered in, its alley covered in copper tape, and that's grounded to ground. Just point you down. This is our on switch. Big beefy industrial thing. I had to take that apart and redo it because it had some like bus bars in there. So that's double pole, double throw, on off switch, mains on off switch, big indicator. This LED here is for our delay start. It tells us when we've got full HT. So this board down here, this little circuit here, is just two RC filters, and that's our 100 volt, minus 100 volt for our bias. This circuit here in the middle is a delay start. After 10 seconds, this transistor turns on. Yeah, that's right, turns on, and it turns this relay on here. I don't know if you can see underneath there's a big green resistor, and that basically shorts that out of the way. so the HT is reduced to something like 280 volts for 10 seconds. In that time the heaters will have warmed up, full HT comes on, and that means that valves get a bit of an easier time, although yeah, there's some sort of thing out there saying that banging on full HT when the heaters are at full warmth is probably not a good idea. No, they should be right. But that means like capacitors in our amplifier circuit can be rated for 400 volts when we've got a HT of 420, because yeah, you'll see later on it's a bit hard to describe anyway. And so here what we've got, that's a delay circuit here. This is just a minus 15 plus 15 volt power supply, basically two big caps, bridge rectifier, 7815, 7915. That is for a preamp, which I'll show you in a minute. Fuses, pretty straightforward, and then this is our HT supply here. Two 700 microfarad 250 volt caps. That's a reservoir cap, no, yeah, that's a smoothing cap. Choke, reservoir cap. HT fuse, that's a big, what do you call it, one of them long fuses. Yeah, that's about all there is to say. And oh, right here, this is a protection. There's going to be a protection circuit here, where my hand is waving. That's where the amplifier is going to be. If any of the valves starts running away, like goes to air, or some sort of fault happens, if it exceeds a certain current limit, the trike will be tripped, and this is just a power supply, a very simple power supply for this relay down here. This will cut the neutral to this mains transformer. Right, that's everything, I think, apart from a little bit unconventionally, we've got a solid state preamplifier circuit, because I wanted this amplifier to have tone controls. Easier to implement with op amps, better to implement with op amps. This is from Rod Elliott's site, hi-fi preamplifier. It works really well. Bass, treble, balance and volume. That's a Alps pot 100k, well it's actually 90k, 290k dual gang pot. Means when I've finally worked out a remote circuit, we can have remote volume control. Right, I think that's about it. Oh, apart from that, there is our 300 volt regulated supply for our screen grids for all 8. Although I might have to alter this resistor here. This is a current limiting resistor. It's a very simple circuit, but I've found this bulletproof. I've used this in my valve tester there. If you just look online, 0 to 300 volts variable power supply. This is mine's a variation on that. Usually, like, the voltage is set with a pot, a 470k pot. I'm setting the voltage here with Zener diodes, and this pot here is regulating the current to these Zeners, so I can adjust it either side of 300 volts. This diode is just part of that string, which is given a voltage reference for this MOSFET, which is you usually use something like an IRF 640, 740 or an 820, I think it is, isn't it? This is just one out of my jump box. This is a, I don't know, big high voltage MOSFET. big cap there. That's what I was going on about caps. This cap here is rated for 400 volts. Our HT is 420 volts. Yeah, not a good idea. It really needs another cap on there. Although this will have a resistor to drop that 20 volts. But really, yeah, I should have another resistor in there. That's just 1 amp my jump box. Right, I think that's about it. I'm going to get on now with testing all these until I find 8 that are in good condition and are 47 microfarads. So fun. Yeah, I'm just trying to use basically what I've got. All sorts of bloody caps that's been sitting around for years. Could use new ones, but I'd still have to do the same. Still have to select them. Anyway, Jesus, look at that. 15 minutes. That's all for now. Ta-da. Take care of yourselves. Bye.